Welcome to Tehachapod, the City of Tehachapi's podcast, where we share conversations with local leaders, business owners, and community members. Don't miss an episode. Be sure to follow and subscribe to learn something new and discover ways to get involved in our community.
Nick Tanaka here. It's Tehachapod time with Clare from the Chamber. Clare, how are we doing?
I'm doing great. I'm loving all the sunny weather we're getting, and things are just moving and grooving.
And Clare, in our studio today, we have a handful of guests. Who are these people?
Yes, we do. I was very fortunate to be able to have Claudia Baker here from the Loop newspaper, and we have Adriana and Peter Garthwaite from TehachaSleep, Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts. So all kinds of entrepreneurs who are not unstoppable.
Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thank you.
First, let's get into a little bit of chamber business. What kind of updates do you have from the chamber?
Yes, starting out, we have a couple grand openings and anniversaries we're celebrating here very soon. On April 11th at 11 a.m., Have a Heart Humane Society will be celebrating 3 years and an anniversary in their new location.
Oh, very exciting.
So, very exciting. We know Have a Heart has been with us for a long time, always helping, home cats and dogs and, raising funds to make sure everybody's taken care of. And so they're very excited to be celebrating this 3-year anniversary. They're going to be having paw cutery cups for the little 4-legged friends that we have.
That's lovely.
Right? Super, super fun. They're going to have cupcakes for kittens, all kinds of food for humans as well, an opportunity drawing, door prizes, and at 11, we will be doing a toast to celebrate the 3 years. They are located at 787 West Tehachapi Boulevard, so we'd love to see everybody there on April 11th. And then on April 17th, there will be a grand opening for Westbound Clothing Company at 5 p.m. They are located in Old Town off of Bryan Way, and they're offering Western clothing that is practical for infants all the way up through adults. Wonderful boutique that's offering things that you can't find elsewhere.
Are you telling me they have little teeny tiny cowboy boots?
I'm pretty sure they do, yes. I'm heading over there pretty much as soon as this podcast is over to go check out and see what their full line is like. And then on May 1st, we will be celebrating 25 years of the Loop newspaper serving Tehachapi. And so really, really excited to be planning that and helping promote and getting all the details put together. Yep. So we're excited for that. We'll touch more into that here in a minute. We have some mixers and luncheons coming up. On April 21st, we have Meet the Candidates, which is an opportunity for our community, our businesses, and our community members to meet the 3 candidates who are running for Superior Court positions in Kern County. So we have Kern County Court Commissioner Murray Robinson, Kern County Court Commissioner Samantha Georgino Allen, and Kern County Deputy District Attorney Brandon Stallings. They are all running for 3 positions that are open for the Superior Court judge.
Kern County Court Commissioner is not an easy title to pronounce. No.
It's not an easy job to have either. But we're very excited to be able to meet these individuals, learn about them, learn what they're going to be focusing on, what they're passionate about, and then be able to share, this is Tehachapi. Don't forget about us up here, right? We have so many different aspects that need to be considered and thought about as well. And so it's an awesome opportunity to be able to meet everyone. So that'll be Tuesday, April 21st at 5:30 p.m. at Mango House Lounge. And then also on the 21st, we have our luncheon for the month, and we will be diving into how collaborating with other businesses and nonprofit organizations can lift everybody up. So the power of collaboration. And we'll be talking with Coldwell Banker Frontier, McDonald's, the Ronald McDonald House, and then we'll be looking at a lot of other collaborations that have happened in this community that have helped boost business. On April 25th, we have Tehachapi's Finest Gala happening, which we're very excited about. We are highlighting multiple businesses and organizations. Our finalists for small business is First Priority Vehicle Registration Service, La Bodega de Castillo, and Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts here in the house. Woohoo! Our large business of the year finalists, we have Adventist Health, Albertsons, and Alta One Federal Credit Union. Our nonprofit finalists are Cheers to Charity, Family Life Pregnancy Center, and Have a Heart Humane Society. And then the Citizen of the Year finalists are Adriana Garthwaite, also here in the house, John Dyer, and Lorena Samarenko.
Right on.
Yes, so we're really excited. The deadline to get tickets is April 10th. It's $80, and that includes a full 4-course meal provided by Mossman's Catering. There'll be live entertainment by Tehachapi Symphony Orchestra. Yeah, outstanding night, really fun, opportunity to put on all your fancy duds and come on out and have a great time.
And where can they find the tickets?
So the tickets are on Tehachapi.com. So there's a link right there on the main page that'll take you to the ticket page, and you can get however many you need.
Rock and roll.
Yes, and we're really thankful for Mirabelle Estate and Lilac Barn Events for being our top sponsors for this event. And then coming up, we have the Wind Festival. This is happening June 13th. We have openings for vendor spaces for non-food vendors. So any organizations that want to share information, any businesses that want to be out there in the park and let everybody know that you're here, and then anybody selling goods. So we do have some openings there. So please contact chamber@tehachapi.com to get that application. And there's going to be kite flying and food vendors, food trucks. House of Wax will be playing records all day. Tons of activities and fun. We're partnering with Golden Hills CSD, who's doing a Partners Day. And so they are bringing in a helicopter. So you can see a helicopter, and then they're going to do a water drop. All the kids and families, everybody will get to go look at that helicopter. And then when they take off, they're going to go grab some water from Bright Lake, come back and drop it.
So they do during the fires and that sort of stuff?
Yes.
Oh, very interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So hang out because TVRPD is doing a movie night, and I believe the movie is Space Jam. The whole day is just going to be really fun out at Meadowbrook Park starting at 12 p.m. and going until 6 p.m. and then even later with the movie. And thank you so much to Sarah Coso for being our top sponsor for this event, Tehachapi Valley Parks and Rec and Golden Hills for being amazing partners, Sim Sanitation, Terrigen, AES, The Loop Newspaper, Little Entertainment, Major Plumbing, and Tehachapi Amateur Radio Club are all making this event possible. So very excited. Then we have our July 4th parade coming up. So this is going to be happening in less than 3 months. We have a lot that we're celebrating. This is the 250th anniversary of our country. This is the first time that we're doing a full parade on the 4th of July as a wonderful way to celebrate. So we have applications, and this is available for any organization, any business, any team that wants to come out and share their pride for this country and for Tehachapi. So come on over to the chamber. You can grab an application. We can walk you through it, and it's only $30 for organizations or $60 for businesses to apply to be a part of this parade. And then we have a couple new members I'd like to shout out before we hop into learning more about our guests here today. We have Westbound Clothing Company that joined the chamber. Task, which is the Adult Skills Center. They offer trainings, resources, all kinds of skills to help adults with learning disabilities who might have a hard time living on their own or getting jobs on their own. Task provides that information and training and basically having someone walk with them, be like, all right, here's how you're going to be able to live on your own. Here's how you're going to be able to hold your job. And so that way it gives them a lot of empowerment. And then we have Hearts Connection, which is an advocacy program for youth in our community that are also struggling with disabilities, and so making sure that they are getting all the resources that they need as well. The Village Art Studio, and then Off Grid Creations join the chamber as well.
Welcome to the chamber.
Yes, woohoo! All right, so I am so excited to have our guests here today who are all celebrating some wonderful things, and there's so much to learn from their experience here today. So.
Yeah, my name's Adriana Garthwaite, and first of all, thank you for having us here. It's an honor to be here. This is all a God thing. We lived in Palmdale, and God brought us to Tehachapi. We were privileged to meet Jim Pendleton, who used to own Tehachapi Christian Store, and we had no idea we were going to walk out of there owning it ourselves. But it was such a blessing because that store has been there for 25 years. 25 years on the boulevard. So, which blessed many in the community. And 5 years later, God decided to expand it and change the name to Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts. So we are super excited. All the people we've met, all the people we continue to meet, and just miracles that we see, in the Lighthouse all the time. People are coming from different parts of their faith. We are privileged to meet different kinds of churches because everyone goes to where they go, and some do not go to church, but all are welcome, and that's what's the beauty about the Lighthouse, that we get to be a beacon of light in this town. That's me.
My job there is the guitar stuff. So I put musical instruments in there. I fix the guitars as well.
Oh, you're a luthier too.
No, luthiers, they create and make the guitars from scratch.
Oh.
I'm a glorified tech.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I know how to fix them. I was in a rock band in my early 20s, and I fixed my own guitars, and other guys would play them and go, hey, why is this? I don't know, I just learned how to fix it. Can you do mine? So I started getting into it that way. So that's the extent of me at Lighthouse.
So when you say you visited from Palmdale, you go into the store, you walked out of the store and you were like, oh, okay, here's the paperwork.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
She's going, I'm going to Tehachapi. I'm like, what? Where's that? Because I never heard of it before in my life. And a friend that we knew lived here. And I still didn't know where it was. But she came back with $50 worth of rocks with paintings on them. And I'm like, what's this? She goes, oh, it's Hebrew. And it says this and it says that. I'm like, where'd you get those? She goes, you can't believe it. I found a Christian store in Tehachapi because the one we had in Palmdale went out of business. Family, what was it?
Family Christian store or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so she this was during COVID. We're all on unemployment, you know. And she goes, he's trying to sell it. I said, what am I buying it with? My looks? You know. I said, we're on unemployment right now. And she goes, well, at least go talk to the guy. I'm like, I don't want to talk to the guy. But
So you end up talking to the guy.
of course. Look who I'm married to. So we drove out and went home owning a Christian store.
Wow.
Yeah. So we sold everything in the house, bought a 32-foot travel trailer, and lived in it for about a year. Yeah. And just got the thing rolling. And it wasn't easy. And especially during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And but we did it. And been through ups and downs, but we're in a better location now. So, because, you know, I figured out, why aren't we doing as well as I think we should where we're at? I'm like, people in Bear Valley and Stallion don't go past the food stores.
They really don't.
They don't even want to go to the food stores because it's a hike.
It is.
And so I figured if we move to one of these food store areas, I think we'll do much better and people will know we're here. Because that place was there for 20 years.
Yeah.
Just squeaking by. I think Brian Drucker owned it. Susan
Palmer
owned it, and she got sick and passed away. And then Jim, an airplane mechanic, who knew nothing about sales at all, just didn't want to see it go out of business. So he bought what was left of it, the poor guy, and he had no clue what he was doing. And he told me so. He said, I don't know what I'm doing. He said, just by the grace of God, we're still open. He didn't understand what sales tax was, and he got hit with that bill, and he's like, what? Uh-oh. Yeah, so he miraculously got through that, and you know, there's a lot of stuff that store survived for a reason, so we believe it's supposed to be there. And because it's the craziest story in the world for me to sit here and tell you how that happened.
And it's passed a lot. I didn't realize it had passed so many hands. I remember it from, you know, when I would walk around town in like middle school and stuff.
It started just as a bookstore. So when you walked in there, it was just volumes of Bibles. That's what I was told. I never saw it. And then Susan Palmer bought it and turned it into a gift store. And then when she passed away, the daughters pretty much sold everything they could and sold Jim what was left, which wasn't much. And he had to start from scratch. And there was things in there that were sold. You couldn't even believe it. Yeah, so like I said, not a retailer, but a genuine good human being.
And it's a good location that you guys have now. You're in the same parking lot as the Save Mart. There's a bunch of stuff going on in that parking in that lot. So if you guys probably get a ton of just random foot traffic, especially because you're visible from the Anytime Fitness. I have a subscription to Anytime Fitness, so that's how I saw you guys. I was running on the treadmill, barely making by it. I was like, oh, that's new.
We love Anytime Fitness. We have no choice, you know. So it's right next to us.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's right. Better location, better traffic, and I believe in this location we've been meeting more of the town. You know, so it was more tourists on the boulevard, but we're meeting more of what we were hoping for. People that live in Bear Valley, you know, that go to Save Mart and Stallion Springs, Golden Hills. So it's been a whole different vibe, but a beautiful one. So
awesome.
Yeah.
And there's people who were coming here. Oh wow, finally we have one. Well, no, we had one for 20 years. You guys didn't go past this. And I'm like, we were right across from the water tower. Oh, I think I know. They didn't know.
No.
Yeah.
So you've got Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts that, recently we were able to, celebrate the grand opening for that new location. But you also have TehachaSleep.
Yeah, so I was in this the furniture and mattress business, mostly the mattress business my whole life, and I got a part-time job at Home Depot, which turned into a full-time job at Home Depot, and then they wanted to promote me, and I was like, nope, because I've been down that middle management road, didn't want to do it again for me, just wasn't for me.
I hear that.
Anyway, so I got plantar fasciitis on, I think both my feet actually at one point. and I was hobbling, but I loved doing what I did. But my wife was like, "What's wrong with you? Well, you don't have to do this." And I was like, "Yeah, but what else am I going to do?" Because I got done there at 1:30, and I went there, I fixed guitars, I went home, and probably took a nap, and got up and did it all over again. And my wife's like, "Why don't we just open a furniture store?" And I said, light bulb went off, and I called some people to see if they still remembered me. And they were like, "Yeah, we'll open you, dude." Because I was a regional vice president for a couple of companies before I got out of that business.
Gotcha.
It's a fancy title for being a regional manager. They remembered me. They opened me up, and just here's mattresses, and boom, we were open. We were on the boulevard right next door to the Christian store, kind of, for the first year, and then when that space opened up over there, some friends of mine sent me a picture. Hey, those who's there is going out, and maybe you get it. I was on the phone the next day and got it.
And what a great space, because over there in the Save Mart Shopping Center, you can feature so many more different types of mattresses plus other furniture. I mean, you guys have the tables and coffee tables and couches and chairs and so people can furnish their whole home. Yeah. And what a great way, because I feel like in the other space it was a little tight, and so maybe it was a little hard to kind of get from bed to bed.
Yeah, you can't overcrowd.
Yeah, now you've got so much more space, and it's just beautifully designed.
Thank you. Well, that's kind of was my forte. So even when I left Mattress Gallery, I went to Sit and Sleep, and I redid their floor. I mean, the vice president came down to see what I was doing. I was like, "Oh, am I in trouble?" He's like, "Man, this looks so good. Can you do this for the rest of our stores?" I was like, "Okay." And but it's. Yes, you don't want to be crowded out, but you also want to shop for quality stuff too. So, I was thinking if I went the lower end route, people still want good things. They're going to go to Bakersfield, they're going to go to Palmdale, they're going to go to Lancaster to find those things. So I figured there was definitely business here for that, and I was right. So we have quality products like Puffy and Helix, and we had Stearns and Foster and Tempur-Pedic and all those brands, right? So. Brooklyn Bedding is really, really big right now, and we got them on the floor. And actually, the funny thing is people are coming from Bakersfield now to Tehachapi to buy Helix because they don't have a Helix dealer.
Oh.
And hopefully they're not watching the podcast. Because they don't have Helix dealers in Bakersfield. So I'm getting that business.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
Well, we love to hear that they're coming up here for it.
Yeah. I've had people call me on the phone. And so I understand this. Okay, we'll be up on Saturday, and boom.
Because I remember when it was a Blockbuster.
Yes.
That was.
I still got those mirrors.
Good.
People were like, "Oh, that's interesting." I'm like, "No, not really. It was a Blockbuster." Oh, that's right.
Adriana too is one of the finalist nominees for Citizen of the Year.
Oh, Jesus.
And I just want to give a shout out because you go beyond just being an entrepreneur in this community. You always have an open heart and open arms. And you're there to help whoever needs it. And I wanted you to share a little bit more about that and the work that you've done in this community and the partnerships that you've made.
If you guys could be in the Lighthouse for one day, every day is different. We had a homeless guy come in. He was, I believe, what do they call it when they're just kind of...
He got around by train.
He got around by train. But he had a guitar. And so what attracted him was the guitars on the window. So he came in just because we had a guitar, and then next thing you know, he started sharing his problems, what he was going through, why he's, in the position he's in. And we were with him for about 2 hours.
Yeah,
about 2 hours. My husband came in and we ended up just witnessing to him, sharing him the love of Jesus and sharing with him how much he's loved, and he was battling some very dark things. We were able to pray afterwards, and gave him some clothing, gave him hope is what we did, and so I was in tears. These are the reasons why I wake up. It humbles me, number one, but when we think that we have, all these issues, we see other people that have bigger issues. It's really a blessing, and that's just one of many things, that happens. And so these are the things that happen at the Lighthouse. As far as partnerships, I was out and about, meeting a lot of businesses, and then I kind of got stuck with just, now I'm at the store almost full time. We've tried and we continue to try to just have partners with everybody, with the chamber, with the loop. But it's just the word's getting out. I'll run into people. "Hey, Adriana, you prayed for my mom. You sold me a Bible," and it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
Is there anything else that you guys would want to share, like, contact information, websites, anything about your businesses?
So Lighthouse has one, Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts.com and TehachaSleep.com. A lot of people say Tehachapi Sleep. It's not it. It's TehachaSleep. Yeah, so we pride ourselves at that store, at least on the furniture side. On the mattress side, they're pretty much MAP, which is you have to sell them at that price anyway. But for the furniture, we're about $200 to $300 cheaper than anybody in Bakersfield or Lancaster, and I made sure of that. So not only are you going to save more money by buying local, you're buying local, right? And it's free delivery on any purchase over $4.99 and above. And we'll take your old mattress away. And I know a lot of mattress places say that like they're doing you a favor. It's actually a law. So yeah, we'll take your mattress away and haul it off to the dump. That's what the recycle fee's for. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. You cannot order stuff off of my website. Can you order stuff off of your
Not yet.
Yeah. I think it's better for people just to come in. You order something online, it's like a mattress or something, you get it home, you're like, oh, I hate this. Okay. You need to come in and try them. You really do. And we understand what's going on. So myself or anybody who works at the store knows how to get you the right bed within the first 5 minutes. And there's going to be some cases where there's one person's one way and another person's one way, so we're going to have to compromise. That's usually how that works. But a lot of times we get it right the first time. So yeah, our return ratio is less than 1%.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I know that my family, they always say, invest in things that separate you from the ground. You want to buy good shoes and you want to buy a good mattress.
And a good refrigerator.
A good refrigerator.
But our Gmails are so Lighthouse Bibles and Gifts at gmail.com and TehachaSleep at gmail.com. Another thing I wanted to share, Lighthouse is bringing in people from Ridgecrest. We have Lancaster and Palmdale, who are all, we get them, it's growing.
Travel, yeah.
They travel just to come to the Bibles because we're the closest Christian store.
Really?
And so, they're coming and then we get to meet them and they're on fire, we're on fire. I mean, it's just amazing. But yeah, so and then like my husband shared with TehachaSleep, people from Bakersfield are coming. So
And we deliver to Bakersfield for free. We deliver to Palmdale and Lancaster for free. We deliver to California City for free.
That's a heck of a footprint.
It is. It's one thing I learned from one of my mentors, Larry Miller from Sit and Sleep. When I opened, he's like, Pete, I already knew this. But he's like, Pete, don't charge them delivery. I went, why not, Larry? He goes, because I'll hate your guts. I'm okay.
Well, wonderful. Well, thank you guys so much for sharing that. And then I do want to learn a little bit more about the Loop newspaper. 25 years. Congratulations. That's amazing, Claudia.
Thank you.
And something I want to point out as well is in an age where newspapers are struggling, you guys have adapted. You have turned your content into something more than print. There's a lot of opportunities for people to get that news in different ways. And you have definitely served Tehachapi in the way that Tehachapi needed over the years. Really excited to help shine a light on this amazing accomplishment and learn a little bit about how you got it started and how you got here.
Well, they asked me to write about it, and so in this week's paper that we had, I wrote an article about it, and basically it's about family and wanting to make it good news and wanting to know what's going on before it happens. Those are my two goals. And thank goodness it started out small. It was kind of like, let's try it and see if it works. Because everybody said they don't last here. People have tried this and you'll never make it. Guess it just one foot in front of the other every 2 weeks. You just keep going and people would contribute. It's changes, it morphies it so that one time you're having somebody write things about puns and different events in their life, and another one's about massage, and then those people get tired of doing it after a while, so I think I'll quit doing that for a while, and then somebody else comes up. And so we've just, over the 25 years, we've had all sorts of contributors from the community. I pick people that really love doing it, love to write. And it's usually people that are not writers. They're just somebody that they're doing something else and they say, oh, yeah, I like to write. I say, well, try it out and see. And it's just been very fun because you never know what you're going to get.
changes with every edition.
Oh yeah. And you guys started 2001. What was that kind of like?
It was right after, to me, it was right after the millennial, when everything was supposed to go really bad. In the
Yes.
90s, we were all consumed with, we won't make it past 2000 because
Yeah, the Y2K.
yeah, they couldn't figure out how to change the date and stuff, and so
The computers are gonna turn off. They'll never turn on again.
yeah, and so it was probably, I was doing the welcome service since 1995, and I was putting my column in the two papers that were here. I had to always type everything. Well, I didn't. I typed it up, took it in, and handed it to them, and then they had to type it up. It was before you could send it typed already to them, email. So it was very frustrating sometimes because they get it so messed up.
Oh, they wouldn't transpose it correctly?
No,
Oh.
they'd write, I'd put two in at a time, and they'd write half of one guy's thing and put the other half of the other one's underneath that one. And I mean, it was just no editing at all, So anyway, but it was still okay, But when the other paper went out of business in 2000, I thought, well, I only have the Tehachapi News to do, and they had just sold to the Californian. So they weren't, I'd give it to them, but they didn't always publish it. I just never knew if it was going to go in or not. So I guess I just decided I did the welcome service, so I knew the customers, I knew the businesses. So I went and asked, I said, I'll go find out. And I got a front page for a year, and I went, uh-oh, guess I'm going to be in this for a while. And then it was just kind of, people I knew wanted to take a chance and see, and it worked out. Every year we just kept on going. And in 2005, my husband passed on, and then in March of the next year, we changed the name to the Loop newspaper.
You didn't have the name the whole time?
No, we were the Shopper News.
The Shopper News. I would not have guessed that in a million years.
I know, it was a weird name, but we were not a newspaper at the time. We really weren't a shopper either, but I tried to be a shopper. I put cartoons in and whippy sayings, and I didn't want to be another newspaper like that. And so that's kind of how it started. And then it just, every time I get around somebody, it just changed. By the time 5 years had gone by that we changed the name, and Alicia and I got together. She worked with me from the beginning, and my daughter, and she and I got together and came up with the name The Loop newspaper. We were looking at the wind and this, the breeze, the different names. But The Loop, that was so perfect because we had a loop here. So
Yep. And you keep people in the loop.
yeah, and so it had a lot of different meanings. So yeah, that's how we got the name. And so we rebranded then, and we got stands, put our logos on the side, and started, just really making it serious.
Can't believe I worked for you for years and I never knew it wasn't called The Loop originally.
Oh, well, it's not an important thing to
I think it's important. That's so fascinating to
know.
me.
It's just,
So what did the content look like back then? Was it mostly like ads for businesses and then graphics and
yeah, it was not so many articles, but we did have contributors, like the museum contributed, and I had a guy that did sobriety training. So I just had people that were willing to do it, So I was writing back then. I used to put a column in about what I did during the week, like, I went here and I went there and we found this out, we found that out. I did stuff like that in the beginning. But after a while, I didn't have to do anything. I just...
Everyone else was contributing.
Yeah, everyone else. So I was not really saddled with writing that much.
So Claudia, you had a travel blog in 2001, it sounds like, and you distributed it to the town.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, when we first started, John and I used to go out and deliver. We took it to Cal City and threw it on driveways. We went to Stallion Springs and put it in every mailbox. We just put it on as many streets as we could find in Tehachapi, and all the stores and the businesses. We used to print like 20,000 papers. 20,000. That was like, oh my God. Now we print like 10,000, and it's perfect amount. And because we're online now, people can see it right away online. And throwing it on driveways was not a good idea. No, because they'd call and say, would you quit throwing that thing on my driveway? And so we did. We quit. And then Stallion got rid of their mailboxes. So there's no putting it out there. We do put it out, out to the country store out there, but we don't go to mailboxes anymore.
And it makes sense to have them in like the centralized locations where you could just opt in, you grab one, mosey off.
And Nick, you had mentioned, like having a travel blog, right, from the beginning. You're letting everybody know like what's happening in Tehachapi. This is where I went. This is what I did. Mm-hmm. And you've really expanded on that with the Experience Tehachapi magazine, which is used by visitors throughout the year. And everybody wants to see that because there's maps in there, there's articles about all the different businesses, things to do, where to go, what is Tehachapi. And you've expanded with your digital screens in different businesses so that people there can learn about other places to go and what's happening and the events happening here in Tehachapi. You're very, very involved with the Tourism Commission and the Economic Development Council. You're very involved with the Chamber, one of our top partners. And thank you for giving us a spot in the editions every other week where we get to share a little bit more about what's happening on our end of things. And so it really shows how dedicated and committed you are, to showing off Tehachapi.
Well, I'm glad that you're participating so you can do all the hard work of finding out what's happening, and because it's definitely something.
It's definitely exactly. It's something to try to keep a pulse on all the things that are happening, and I still miss quite a bit.
It took a long time for us because people were used to a weekly newspaper or they were used to a monthly newspaper. They'd never heard of a 2-week paper. So to get them to think that far ahead for an event was definitely difficult in the beginning. Way to do it is to take pictures of where you are and then put it in and say, well, we had a great time. And people say, well, how come I didn't know about that? I put it on a bulletin board. What's the matter? That was before Facebook, too. That was before all of the digital everything. So we tried to train them. And, eventually, after all these years, people are trained that they need to do their events ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Imagine that. And check with other people, see if there's something going on that day. Yeah, and the magazine started, it was in our anniversary at Tehachapi 100th year anniversary of being incorporated, 2009. And that's when I first did the magazine. I was going to do it more often. Oh, I think I'll do it every 6 months or, And boy, after I did one magazine, I said, nope, the town can't handle more than one of these. So I did 3 of them till 2011. I think it was 2014, 15 in there that I decided, I think I'm going to do the magazine again. So,
okay.
And I was fortunate that in the beginning, the people that were at the other paper wouldn't write for us. And John Hammond came in and wanted to be part of the magazine, but he couldn't put his name on it.
Oh.
He would do it, but And then eventually it got to be where people that worked over there were actually freelance. They could do what they wanted. And they finally broke out and said, we want to write for you too. So Nick Smirnoff, same. He's been here a long time. And if he has a picture, he'll share it with me if I want him to.
Great photographer.
Yeah, I'm just lucky that I have a lot of photographers, and I'm lucky there's cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
People don't have to be fantastic at it anymore. They can take pictures. No big deal to be in a newspaper. It's just a newspaper. So
Yeah.
people, at least they call and say, can you come out and do it? Nope, I can't. We're just 3 people there, But if you do it, I'll put it in. And doggone if they don't do it.
You guys are coming up on your 25th anniversary.
Yes, we did already, March 9th.
March 9th. Are you guys celebrating in any particular way?
Oh, of course, we're going to have a 25, well, I have Rosanna Vaughn is now working at our office, and her mom owns the Los Fierros Vineyard. And she goes, oh, let's have it at our place. So I said, okay. And then I found out she's a party planner. So I said, well, how about you do it? She goes, okay. So right now we've decided on May 1st.
Okay.
Starting at 3:30, and we're going to have happy hour from 3:30 to 4:30, and a toast from 4:30 to 5, and then from 5 to 7 we're going to have dinner.
Right on. What's on the menu?
We haven't decided the menu yet,
Okay.
but we are deciding the drink. It's a tequila sunrise.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a lot of work to do a party, and it just stresses me somehow. I mean, with everything else going on, to do that and make everything perfect, because people will expect it to be good, and then you break your arm, and
Yeah.
then it is not so easy. But yeah, but I have good people work around me. Thank goodness. My staff is amazing. Now that I broke my arm, they're taking better care of me than they used to.
That's what it took? Oh,
Well,
my goodness.
can I unscrew your water? Stuff like that. Can I help you out the door? But, it's very nice to have nice people that you like around you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is this a ticketed event?
No.
Not a ticketed event. Okay.
It doesn't say anything here about calling or responding yet. But
Okay.
when we put it in the paper, I think we're going to try to get some RSVP
Okay.
something, because who knows. And then people can't all come at 3:30, so we thought it'd be kind of like an open house where you come and go if you want,
Breeze in, breeze out.
Yeah, no stress, no problem. And I'm so grateful for everything I've had over the years and people that have participated with us, and I think they enjoyed it as well. And it's just a fun outlet for people. Like even Nick wrote about movies, and can I write about some old movies? And, okay, try it, let's see what it's like. And that's it. Give them a chance and see if you want to write for me, go ahead and send me something, and I'll see if I like it.
And I got to watch a bunch of really cool movies, so that was a great experience for me.
Yeah, well, yeah, see, we get somebody's niche, what they really like, why do they like it, and then they write about it, so.
And if someone wanted to contribute to the Loop newspaper, who would they contact?
Me, of course. You call Claudia at the Loop, 822-8188. Yes, you contact us, and then we'll tell you how to do it.
Yeah. The Loop is also located on Green Street, right across from the Hitching Post Theater, and there's always someone there in the office. So if you're a face-to-face type of person, you want to go in and meet the wonderful team and just share some of your ideas. They're always willing and ready.
Yeah, we're always looking I never say no. I might say no after I see what you did, but I don't ever say no to the beginning, because somebody that wants to do it, that's people we're looking for. So
Absolutely.
it's working out. And then I went to the job fair for Chamber, and I thought, oh no, how am I I'm not even looking for anybody, I'm just going to go and participate. And doggone, they came in lines, and
Yes,
what
there
I
was
did
a line. At one point, it was halfway across the gym.
Really?
And yes, a lot of people that wanted to write for the Loop. What can we do? Do you have job openings? We're ready to help in all these different ways.
That's awesome.
And I believe you did hire someone from that event.
I did,
And
Lauren Nish. But the thing is, I just told everybody, well, how do I apply? I said, well, here's my card. Write something. Write about what you're interested in and send it in. And in fact, write about this event today. And I got 2 responses out of that whole line. But the one I really liked, Lauren, she's now writing.
Was she the one that went to the walking group? She did that article in the walking group? Oh, that was such a lovely article. Good job, Lauren.
Yeah. Yeah, you just never know where the talent is.
Claudia, is there anything else that you want to plug or talk about before we wrap up the podcast?
We're doing a map right now for the city of Tehachapi. It's our 3rd one. It lasts about 3 years before they are all gone. So
yes, and they're very popular. They're handed out at the Chamber and the Visitor Center, different locations all across Tehachapi. And, a lot of visitors come in asking for those maps because it's easier for them to, get a visual of the whole area and, awesome advertising opportunities. And, it's a really nice map.
It's a really good investment, really, for that community. And then we also are doing placemats now. We do, if I can remember all of them, Tehachapi, Kelsey's, Gracian's, Great Wall, Jay's Hideaway. We just picked up Henry's Cafe, and they come around every 6 months and they renew, and we're in the process of renewing right now. So if anybody's interested, they can call 822-8188. And we also do menus. Right now we do Conan's, which is coming up for renewal, and we're doing Jake's menu. And they are going to be placed at the Visitor Center. That's another thing. We are in the rack card program for the magazine, and we're in the Visitor Center with the Loop. So we try to be everywhere so everybody can find it.
And the rack card program is a program through the Tehachapi Tourism Commission where there are racks at 20 different locations, including like Murray's, so we go out beyond Tehachapi, but they're in various hotels and restaurants, places where travelers often find themselves. And then they can find more information about Tehachapi through all the cards in that rack. The Loop has always been very supportive of that whole program. And Pat Duty, who is also part of the Loop, she's part of that team. She's the treasurer on the Tourism Commission as well. So you can just see the involvement, the level of commitment that the Loop has is very inspiring.
And then Robert, my grandson, he fills the racks.
Yes.
He's also the one that does all the layout in our paper, and he just picks it up and distributes it all over Kern County, and then Alicia, my daughter, she does all the graphics. So we have a great team.
Yes, family operated.
And then the Crisellis, I have Juliana, Linda, and Josh. They all were at the Tehachapi News. So I felt really fortunate that they have joined us.
Wonderful.
So I feel like I have a really good team.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today on this special podcast. Thank you to the City of Tehachapi for hosting and allowing us to have this moment.
Oh, happy to do so. This has been Tehachapod.
You've been listening to Tehachapod. If you have a question, a thought, or a suggestion, email media@tehachapicityhall.com. We'll catch you again soon, right here on Tehachapod.